Hello, everyone. This is Alex from Keynecht, and welcome back to another valuable presentation about the freight business. All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're tackling something that every motor carrier dreads, getting hit with a damaging Freightguard report. Consider this your personal playbook for defending not just your business, but your entire reputation. So let's get into it. So you get that email, and just like that, your reputation, your livelihood, it's all on the line. A single negative report can get you blacklisted, and it happens fast. The question is, what's your game plan? Because what you do next, well, it's absolutely critical. First things first, we need to be crystal clear about what we're up against here. Understanding the sheer power of these reports is step one in fighting back and winning. So what is a Freightguard report really? Well, think of it as a negative review that a broker can slap on your company profile on Carrier 411. But here's the most important part, the thing you have to burn into your memory. It is the broker's opinion. It's an allegation. Carrier 411 does not fact-check these claims. They are not proven facts. But hey, don't let that word opinion fool you for a second. The impact is very, very real. As one industry expert said, these things have the power to literally tank a motor carrier financially. And it's true. So many brokers will not even touch a carrier if they have just one of these reports. It's a direct threat to your bottom line. Okay, so we know the threat is serious. Now let's talk about the battlefield. If you're going to fight back, you have to know the rules of the game. And believe me, Carrier 411 has created a very specific, very stressful, time-sensitive gauntlet that you are forced to run. It's hard to overstate just how much the deck is stacked against you here. Just look at their official policy. We do not talk to carriers, period. No exceptions. They'll block your number. They'll ignore your emails. Why? Because you are not their customer. The broker is. They make that painfully clear. You're completely on your own in this. And this timeline, this is everything. The second that report is filed, a 72-hour clock starts ticking. For those 3 days, the report is private, hidden from public view. This is your only window of opportunity to convince the broker to delete it or to get your side of the story on the record. Because after 72 hours, it goes public. And this is a really big deal, a huge policy change from October 2024. After that 72-hour mark, that report is basically permanent. Yeah, even if the broker has a change of heart and deletes it later, a kind of ghost of that report stays on your profile. It's anonymized, but it's still there. The stain doesn't completely wash away. That's why the urgency is so real. Okay, so the clock is ticking. You've got to move. What do? Let's get right into the playbook for your immediate response. This is where most of these battles are won or lost. All right, here are your first moves step by step. 1. Find that notification email. It has a unique 10-digit code you absolutely need. Don't lose it. 2. Do not wait. I mean it. Immediately get on the phone or send an email to the broker who filed it. And 3. Get it in writing. Follow up a phone call with an email. You need to create a paper trail. You might need it later. Now, how you communicate in that moment is everything. If you messed up, be honest. Own it. People respect that. And you have to stay professional. I know you'll be angry, but losing your cool will just make everything worse. Bring the receipts. Use your documents, call logs, timestamps, anything that proves your case. And hey, if the person you're talking to is a brick wall, don't be afraid to ask for their manager. Escalate. Now, let's talk about that official response on the Carrier 411 site, because this is so important. You get exactly one shot at this. You use that code from your email to submit your side of the story. It needs to be professional, factual, and stick to the point. Why? Because for every other broker who looks at your profile from now on, that little block of text is the only voice you have. Make it count. But what happens when you've done everything right and the broker just won't budge? What if the report is a complete and total lie? Well, that's when you have to consider your last resort. It's time to call the lawyers. So the first thing you have to understand is who you can actually go after. And here's the deal. You can't sue Carrier 411. They're protected by a federal law, Section 230, that basically gives them a shield. It says they're not responsible for what their users post. But the broker, the one who actually wrote the false statement, they have no such protection. They are absolutely on the hook for defamation. And listen, this isn't just some legal theory. Let's look at a real-world case that should give every carrier out there some hope, and maybe make a few brokers think twice. Just let that number sink in for a minute. $458,000. That is how much a federal court ordered a brokerage to pay a carrier for one single false Freightguard report. This proves it. There can be a very real and very high price to pay for posting a lie. So here's the quick breakdown of that case. The broker made some really serious claims, fraudulent double brokering, a no-show, nasty stuff. But in reality, the carrier had all the documents to prove it was a total fabrication, and the court agreed, finding the broker guilty not only of defamation, but of intentionally interfering with the carrier's business. The outcome? Well, we just saw the outcome. Now, it's really important to know that not every case is a slam dunk like that one. So what's the difference? It really boils down to facts versus opinions. For instance, in one case, a broker's claim that a carrier held a load hostage was thrown out because, well, that's a subjective opinion. But a broker claiming you're a no-show when you've got tracking data proving you were there, that's a provably false fact. And that, combined with proof of how much money you lost, is what wins in court. So if you decide it's time to fight, what's in your legal toolkit? Well, it usually starts with a cease and desist letter. It's basically a formal warning shot from your lawyer, and honestly, that's often enough to make the broker back down. If it doesn't, the next step is the big one, a defamation lawsuit. And through it all, the most important job you have is to document everything. Every lost load, every single dollar of lost revenue. That's your ammunition. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground here, from that initial shock all the way to the courtroom. So let's boil it all down to the final, most important takeaways you need to remember. So let's recap the game plan. Number 1, act fast. That 72-hour window is everything. 2, stay professional. Your best first option is always negotiation, not confrontation. 3, document everything. Your evidence is your best friend in this fight. And finally, number 4, know your rights. For those truly false reports, remember that legal action is a powerful last resort. So we'll end on this thought. A false report isn't just some bad feedback. It is a direct, serious threat to your business and your ability to earn a living. After this, you know the stakes, you know the playbook, and you know your rights. The only question left is, are you prepared to defend yourself?